So I suppose the first thing I'd like to know is how you know that your daughter has anxiety. What are the signs that you've seen? What's been different about her? That's the first thing that you need to think about. And also, how do you know that it's anxiety about school? Is that something that you're putting onto her, or is that something, or have you heard her say something? So that's the first thing. It might be anxiety about something else. If you're sure that it's anxiety about school and you've noticed things, then you need to think about how to talk to her and how to create a context to be speaking to her so that she will open up. Usually the best context for any teenage person, depending on how close you are, if you're very close and she does talk to you about things, it's much easier because you can just say to her, I've noticed that you've been a bit different lately. I've noticed that you've been a bit more quiet. You've stayed in your room maybe a bit more. You're not socializing as much with your friends. I can sense that you're a bit uncomfortable going to school. All of those things you can just say to her, and hopefully she will open up if she feels comfortable with you. If you feel that she is a bit more withdrawn and doesn't feel comfortable about opening up, then you need to create a context. And I would suggest that one of the best things to do is to not have an intensive kind of conversation where you're sitting face to face with your teenage daughter or son, because that always makes them feel uncomfortable. So it's more, having a nice mother and daughter day out. Let's do a bit of shopping, let's go out for lunch, let's go for afternoon tea, whatever you think she might like. And as you're walking about, you kind of mention it and you kind of say, oh, this is so lovely. I have noticed that lately you've been a bit more down. I've noticed that you've been, and always check in with her. Have I noticed correctly? Is that right? So don't assume that you do actually know. And then you start the conversation. If she says yes, you ask her, you say, well, do you want to tell me what's going on? You can also talk about things in general, like you can say that I know in general a lot of other parents who I'm friends with tell me that their children have anxiety now that lockdown is finished and people are back in school, or the kids feel a bit anxious about, how do we actually interact with each other? So you can talk about things that you've heard from other mothers. Even if you haven't heard them, you can make it up. And usually that opens up the child to say, yes, I do too.